Is your Christmas about to be ruined by weather you never saw coming? 356 days into 2025, and we're facing the most unusual holiday weather pattern in decades. By the time you finish watching this, you'll know exactly which Americans need to cancel their travel plans right now, and why this Christmas could be remembered for all the wrong reasons. 15 to 30 degrees above average. That's not a forecast. That's what's happening to your Christmas in the heartland, right now. The Christmas heat dome has arrived, and it's not leaving until long after you've opened your presents. Your dreams of a white Christmas? They died 3 days ago when this atmospheric monster locked into place over the Rockies. The only snow you're going to see on December 25th is in the Northeast, maybe in the high mountains out west. Everywhere else? We're talking about temperatures that should terrify anyone who understands what December is supposed to feel like in America. But here's what no one is talking about at the 30-second mark. While 70 million Americans are sweating through an unseasonably warm Christmas, 20 million others are about to face a blizzard so dangerous that highways will close and power will fail. This isn't just weather. This is a tale of two Americas, and you need to know which one you're in before tomorrow morning. The Climate Prediction Center just updated their 6 to 10-day outlook. Above-average temperatures blanketing the entire continental United States, except for one small pocket. That pocket? It's where the cold air that should be covering the heartland got pushed, compressed, and squeezed into a concentrated mass that's going to make someone's holiday absolutely miserable. Temperature anomalies don't lie. Right now, a massive ridge is building out west. By Christmas Eve, it propagates east into the plains, then crashes into the Ohio Valley like a freight train. 15 degrees above normal becomes 20 degrees above normal, 20 becomes 30. In some spots, we're looking at 40 degrees warmer than what God intended for December 24th. St. Louis? 70 degrees on Christmas Day. Arkansas. Most of the state hits the 70s, with southwestern portions flirting with 80 degrees. 80 degrees on Christmas. In Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma, same story. Places that should be bundling up for Christmas dinner are going to be running their air conditioning. But wait, there's more at the 5-minute mark, and this is the promise I'm keeping. You're not just getting warm weather for Christmas. You're getting a phenomenon that could make your holiday travel more dangerous than any blizzard. When warm air moves over ground that's been frozen solid for weeks, something remarkable happens. The temperature difference creates conditions perfect for dense fog. Not just fog, dense fog. The kind that drops visibility to near zero in minutes. Just like a blizzard, except you're wearing shorts. The National Weather Service hasn't issued the warnings yet, but mark these words. Christmas morning, widespread dense fog across the Ohio Valley, Midwest, even the upper Midwest and plains. If you're driving to Grandma's house on Tuesday morning, this fog could be more dangerous than black ice. You won't see the car in front of you until you've already hit it. Visibility near zero. That's blizzard conditions without the blessing of cold weather. At least in a snowstorm, people expect danger. In 70-degree weather with fog? Most folks aren't prepared for that level of threat. Now let's talk about the Northeast. You're the exception to every rule this Christmas. While your cousins in Missouri are complaining about breaking a sweat on Christmas morning, you might actually wake up to snow on the ground. Not a lot, but enough to count as a white Christmas by the official definition. There's a temperature gradient so sharp across Iowa that you could drive from summer to winter in 2 hours. Minnesota? You're technically above average with temperatures, but average for you means freezing cold. Above average just means kind of cold. The warmth corridor runs right through the heart of America, from Texas up through Missouri and into Iowa. Inside that corridor, Christmas will feel wrong. Here's where it gets interesting at the 8-minute mark. This isn't just about comfort. This is about records. St. Louis could see its warmest Christmas in recorded history. Parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, all have a shot at breaking temperature records that have stood for 50, 60, even 70 years. Record-breaking heat in December. Let that sink in. While millions of Americans light their Christmas candles and sing about winter wonderlands, thermometers across the heartland are going to be reading numbers that would be pleasant in April, comfortable in May, but absolutely absurd in December. But while the center of the country bakes in this unnatural warmth, something apocalyptic is brewing on the West Coast. And this is where things get deadly serious. California is about to get hammered. Not just rain, not just snow, a full-scale atmospheric river assault combined with a Sierra blizzard that will make national news by Christmas morning. We're talking about a weather bomb that's going to drop on Christmas Eve and continue through Christmas Day. Let me paint you a picture, and this is at the 10-minute mark where things get real. The Sierra Nevada mountains are going to receive 3 to 5 feet of snow above 7,000 feet. That's not a typo, 3 to 5 feet, in 48 hours. During the busiest travel period of the year, Mammoth Mountain, Kirkwood, the Lake Tahoe Basin, all of them are about to be buried under snow so deep that ski resorts will struggle just to keep their operations running. Donner Summit, the same place where the Donner Party met their tragic fate in 1846, is going to live up to its reputation once again. Winds gusting 55 to 60 miles per hour. Overexposed terrain that creates whiteout conditions, zero visibility. Roads will close, not might close, will close. Interstate 80 through Donner Pass? Plan on closures Christmas Eve. Highway 50 to South Lake Tahoe? Same thing. If you're planning to cross the Sierra on Christmas Eve, you're not being brave. You're being foolish. This is the kind of storm where people get stranded in their cars, where search and rescue teams can't even reach you until the storm passes. This is life-threatening weather, and you need to change your plans right now if you were thinking about traveling through those mountains. But it gets worse at the 13-minute mark, and this is where you need to pay very close attention. This is going to be heavy, wet snow, the kind that snaps tree branches under its weight, the kind that brings down power lines, the kind that leaves entire mountain communities in the dark on Christmas Day. Prepare for the possibility of a dark Christmas in the high country. Not dark as in gloomy. Dark as in no electricity. No heat, no way to cook your Christmas dinner. If you live in the Sierra foothills, if you live anywhere in the mountains of California, you need to have flashlights, batteries, candles, and a way to stay warm that doesn't depend on electricity. The Pacific Northwest isn't being spared either. An intense rain and wind event is going to slam into Oregon and Washington on Christmas Eve. We're talking about winds strong enough to knock down trees that have stood for 100 years. Rain heavy enough to cause flooding in urban areas that haven't flooded in decades. Power outages, flooding, wind damage. That's the West Coast Christmas forecast. So while everyone in the Midwest is complaining about it being too nice, remember that nice is relative. At least you have power. At least your roads are open. Now here's the twist at the 15-minute mark. And this is where the story gets really interesting. This heat dome doesn't last forever. In fact, right after Christmas, Mother Nature is going to snap back with a vengeance that makes this warm spell look like a cruel joke. December 26th. The day after Christmas. A massive shot of cold air comes screaming down from Canada. This isn't just a cold front. This is an Arctic blast that could bring heavy snow to the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. The models are showing a signal for a potentially impactful winter storm right after Christmas. We don't have snow totals yet, because this is the kind of system that models historically get wrong. But the signal is there. The potential is real. And if this storm materializes the way it's trending right now, people who traveled for Christmas might not be able to get home for days. But that's not even the biggest story. Because after that first cold blast comes something even more dramatic, a bone-chilling Arctic outbreak around New Year's. We're talking about temperatures that could rival the coldest days of January, hitting in the first days of 2026. The Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Northeast, even the Mid-Atlantic and parts of the Southeast could see temperatures plunge 30, 40, even 50 degrees from where they are on Christmas Day. From 70 degrees to 20 degrees in 72 hours. That kind of temperature swing doesn't just impact your comfort, it bursts pipes, it kills crops, it puts stress on power grids that are already weakened from holiday demand. Here's what that means at the 18-minute mark. If you're traveling for Christmas and planning to drive home after the 26th, you need to be monitoring weather forecasts hourly. Not daily, hourly. Because conditions could change so rapidly that what's safe in the morning becomes deadly by afternoon. The ridge that's giving us this Christmas heat dome, it collapses. And when it collapses hard. Cold air that's been bottled up in Canada for weeks comes flooding south like water breaking through a dam. And just like water breaking through a dam, you don't want to be in its path when it arrives. Now, let's talk about the spiritual aspect of this for a moment. Because many of you watching this are people of faith. You believe that God controls the weather, that there's a reason and a purpose behind every storm, every heat wave, every unexpected weather event. Is this unusual Christmas weather a message? Is it a reminder that we should focus less on the perfect white Christmas and more on the reason we celebrate this day in the first place? The birth of our Savior didn't happen in a winter wonderland. It happened in Bethlehem, in the Middle East, where December weather is often quite mild. Maybe this warm Christmas is an opportunity to remember that Christmas isn't about the weather. It's about family, faith, and gratitude. It's about gathering together, regardless of whether there's snow on the ground or whether you're sweating in 70-degree heat. But faith doesn't mean ignoring reality. Faith doesn't mean driving into a blizzard without proper preparation. God gave us wisdom for a reason, and that wisdom tells us to respect the power of nature, to prepare for danger, and to protect our families from unnecessary risk. At the 21-minute mark, let me give you specific action items based on your location. If you're in the heartland, from Texas up through the Dakotas, expect temperatures 15 to 30 degrees above normal on Christmas. Expect possible dense fog Christmas morning that could make travel dangerous. Have your headlights on, drive slowly, and give yourself extra time. If you're in the Northeast, you're the lucky ones this Christmas. You might actually get snow. Temperatures will be closer to normal, even slightly below normal in some spots. But watch out for that post-Christmas storm. If the models are right, you could be dealing with heavy snow by December 27th. If you're on the West Coast, particularly in California, this is a serious, dangerous weather situation. 3 to 5 feet of snow in the Sierra, blizzard conditions with 60-mile-per-hour winds, power outages likely, road closures certain. If you don't absolutely have to be in the mountains, stay out of the mountains. If you live in the mountains, prepare like you're about to be cut off from civilization for 3 days, because you might be. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, heavy rain and damaging winds on Christmas Eve. Secure anything outside that could blow away. Charge your devices. Have backup power if possible. Expect outages. And here's the big picture at the 23-minute mark. This is what weather in America looks like now. Extreme swings. Record-breaking temperatures. Dangerous storms happening at the worst possible times. This isn't normal, but it's becoming our new normal. The question isn't whether we can handle one weird Christmas. The question is whether we're prepared for a future where every holiday could bring weather that breaks records, that defies expectations, that puts our travel plans and our safety at risk. This Christmas heat dome will be remembered. The Sierra blizzard will be remembered. The temperature records that fall this week will stand in weather history books for decades to come. You're living through a historic weather event right now, whether it feels historic or not. So here's what I need you to do. Share this information with anyone you know who's traveling this Christmas, especially anyone headed to California, anyone driving through the Sierra, anyone who thinks that warm weather means safe weather. Warm weather with dense fog can be just as deadly as cold weather with ice. Check weather forecasts multiple times per day. Not once in the morning, multiple times. Conditions can change rapidly, and what's safe at 8 a.m. might be dangerous by 2 p.m., and most importantly, be flexible. If weather makes your original plans unsafe, change your plans. Your family would rather have you arrive late and safe than not arrive at all. There's no Christmas gathering worth dying for. At the 25-minute mark, here's my final message. This Christmas is going to be unusual for millions of Americans. Some of you will be too warm. Some of you will be buried in snow. Some of you will be dealing with fog, or floods, or power outages. But regardless of the weather outside, the spirit of Christmas remains the same. It's about love. It's about family. It's about faith. It's about taking a moment in our busy, chaotic lives to remember what really matters. The weather might not cooperate with our picture-perfect Christmas fantasies, but that doesn't mean we can't have a meaningful, memorable Christmas anyway. Stay safe out there, be smart, be prepared, and have a very Merry Christmas, no matter what the thermometer reads. The next update is coming December 23rd with details on that post-Christmas winter storm. You won't want to miss it, because if that storm tracks just 50 miles further south than expected, it could impact twice as many people. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on, because this is information that could literally save your life or keep you from getting stranded far from home. God bless, and Merry Christmas.